Hey guys, so Lee Mainprize here. What I want to talk to today is about anxiety in business. Business and life could be stressful enough, but when you choose a career, probably the most difficult, most stressful there are being in business for yourself, it can be extra stuff dealing with the pressures and challenges and strains that we all face. I think, when we're facing anxiety, or panic, it can hinder us with fuzzy thinking, the ability to not think clearly, what to be able to do next. Our mind is overwhelmed, and we find it difficult to really think clearly about what we should be doing, and generally we're reacting to things as they come at us rather than dealing with things rationally and calmly. So one of the first things to remember is, if you're facing anxiety, is that anxiety, when we have anxiety or panic, it's just adrenaline going through your body. So it's just your natural defense mechanism within your body to protect yourself. There's no harm or anything can particularly happen to you. It's just adrenaline going through your body, and that's where you get that surge. And it doesn't last forever because it's like a turbo boost. Eventually, it's going to wear itself out, and then you'll be at that point where it will relax, and you'll feel that sort of slight euphoria from that. So that's the most important thing to think about, is that you're not at any risk when you're facing any anxiety or panic from there. One of the other things as well is, generally through anxiety, is we tend to think anxiety creates a panic about lots of other things. So for example, when anxiety is kicking in, you've worried about all the what ifs. What if this bad case scenarios? What can happen if this? And you're then trying to fix all these different things in your mind without realizing the best thing that we can do is to group it, or instead of trying to outthink our way through this thing, because that will never happen, and understanding that that is just anxiety, that we don't need to try and figure out all these different things going on in our mind. All that we need to do is group it under that one thing of anxiety, and understand that it's anxiety, and all these other things are just a product of it, and we don't need to try to figure out 12 different things, and that'll make it even more stressful. So that's one of the most important things. Just say to yourself, it's just anxiety, okay? And if the ability to be able to just accept that and try and feel comfortable within that is one of the key things. So if you can basically just acknowledge how you're feeling and stop and think, that's just anxiety, that's okay, everything is okay, I'm not under any threat or risk at all. So that's one of the key things, is we can accept it and try not to figure things out in your mind. Try and not group everything under that one bracket of anxiety. That's all we need to do. We don't need to figure out all these 20, 30 different things that are racing through our mind. And if we do that, that sort of overwhelm, we can just bring that down a bit as well by doing that. And also as well, that there's nothing to actually fix. It's just your body and it's just your mind, going into that adrenaline that's creating these thoughts. So that's the main thing. And one of the other things as well is try and put yourself in the present moment. And a lot of anxiety can create about future events, about all the what ifs, and I suffer with that. And wanting to get to a position, and until you get there, you've got that anxiety. So one of the things you can do is lose the what ifs and focus on the moment, and try and deal with the current situation. Often how we can do that is just by having a simple thing. If we write things down, this is what I need to do now, these two things. Imagine they're like checkpoints. Rather than trying to do all these things and be overwhelmed, if you just have a few checkpoints, like, right, I've got to get to here today to do this, just a couple of things, then you are focusing your mind on doing rather than the anxiety and the panic. That's going to help you a lot. So instead of having all these different things running through your mind, just write a couple of things down, and that will give you a little bit of clarity and take your mind off the anxiety and into doing. Because doing is very important when you've got the anxiety, because it puts you in the activity rather than your mind worrying about the what ifs and what's going on. One of the other things that can really help is being active and moving. If you feel anxious, over a period, and you stand still, that adrenaline can tire you out. Now, it's good thing is that doesn't last long because the body can't physically keep pumping out that cortisol. So what you want to do is, rather than feeling tired, is if you feel that anxiety, is change in an instant, 10 minutes. Go out, go for a walk. If you're working from home, go to the gym. Just basically change. One of the things that I always remember is the Anthony Robbins phrase, motion creates emotion. And you know, that's really stuck with me a lot. By moving, if we change our physiology, it changes our state. So if we're feeling down, anxious, whatever, just get up, exercise, move, grab a coffee, talk to someone, whatever it is. Change the environment, move, and you will instantly lift your mood a little bit. And then you're taking your mind again away from that anxiety and being stuck in those thoughts. Another thing you can do, another little tip you can do, is just breathing. I like to meditate, and you can find some simple videos on meditation. That definitely helps to give you more clarity. But for a short quick fix, is just basically breathing. And if you breathe in and out 10 times and count each one, that can act as just a quick thing if you're out, if you're not able to meditate, as just a little tool to bring your breathing down, your heart rate down, and just to be able to bring a little bit more clarity into what you're doing. So there are a few of the key things that you can do to help with anxiety. I think it's very common today with our smartphones, and you know, our mind's being constantly wired. We're sort of training ourselves to do that. So if we can create time, turn the phone off at 8 o'clock, or you know, create times in the day where we have an hour where we're not going to be on the phone, and you know, emails, reacting, Facebook, the mind constantly going, these things can help. And you know, but just by putting in some of these simple things, I think they'll definitely help you combat anxiety like it helps me. And hopefully you'll find this video useful. If you have, subscribe and give us a like. Thank you.